They're back my two New Zealand broadleaves. The small one was started as a cutting and the bigger one was an heir. You can see the bigger one grew pretty well last year, but well, the little one didn't do too much. But that's fine, it's always good to see how they compare. But it's coming to the end of winter here in February, and I'm going to prune the larger one. It's nothing fancy, I'm just going to trim all the long branches back to about 2 pairs of leaves on each branch. These trees, well, I guess they're more shrubs, respond fairly typically. I've not seen them used as bonsai before, but they are pretty common here as hedges, so I've seen plenty examples of them being trimmed, and I'm fairly confident I can get them to stay small and ramified, but we'll see what happens. And here they are after, all ready for spring. In March there's not much going on. They are of course evergreen, if you haven't realised already, so there's no great awakening in spring. They just sort of start growing and you don't really notice it's happened. They're pretty slow to be honest. I've had them growing a few years now and they haven't really developed much. I think the air layer does seem to grow a lot faster than the cutting, and of course the size difference is fairly noticeable. It's a pretty good lesson for this hobby. You should try and start with the thickest cutting you can. It will certainly save yourself a long wait. I think this cutting is going to take forever to get anywhere, but I'm in no rush. And I think I snapped that branch. I might have forgot that they were pretty brittle, which isn't good when they need to be hardwired. In May there is some action. I'm not sure how obvious it is, but they are growing, and even the small one is doing something. I'll show you a close up in a minute, but it's flowering. I've seen these as hedges my whole life and I've never seen them flower. Usually because they're pruned back far too often, so I've just never seen it. So even if this tree feels to be a bonsai, at least I got to experience something cool. So yeah, here are the flowers. They're tiny, maybe that's why I've never seen them before, but either way they're pretty cool. In June you can certainly see the bigger one is growing well, so I'm going to prune it, and well, the small one hasn't really done much. I'm just pruning exactly the same as I did back in the winter, just taking it back to about 2 sets of leaves on each branch. I'm hoping this will need pruned often like the hedges, so hopefully it will get pretty ramified here quite quickly. I'll just leave the small one alone, maybe one day I'll be able to prune it. And here it is after. I think it's going to be really bushy very quickly, which is a good problem to have. In July there's not much going on, but that yellow leaf is just an old one. Evergreens randomly drop old leaves throughout the year, so I can easily just snap that off. We don't need that there, it's not very summery. In August, I think the small one has done nothing. If it hadn't flowered in spring, I would actually be worried about it. It's small though, so I guess small trees put on small growth. In September, there's no change with the small one, but I think the bigger one is looking alright. I think it's going to be the one with actual potential here. The trunk shape is a little weird, that will add character. It's still early days, so we'll see what happens. In October they've stopped growing for the year. I guess the small one treated us to some flowers and then gave up after that. But the bigger one is growing well. I'm happy enough with its progress. If it keeps repeating this each season, I'll be very satisfied. In November, you can actually see what's going on a bit better. The low winter sun sort of ruined that last clip, but anyway, it's dormant now, so there'll be no change over the rest of winter. Which is why I'll just skip to show it here now. There's not much going on in this video, but that seems to be the story of these two. Maybe this coming year we'll see something more interesting. Thanks for watching, see you next time.